Hey folks, welcome back to another review with yours truly, Sam Healey. Today we're taking a look at this little fellow right here, Valhalla. This is a game that's put out by Go On Board, designed by Łukasz Woźniak, and it is a game about card play and scoring points, and the way you do that is by taking your warrior clan and going out and fighting other warrior clans so that your warriors can die gloriously in battle and go to Valhalla. So that is the basic gist of the game. There's a lot of card play in it, a lot of dice rolling as well. So we'll get into all of that in just a few moments. Let's get down to the table and take a look. Now, in a game of Valhalla, you're basically simply trying to score points, and there are different scoring patterns for each of the different kinds of players. So here you have a different scoring pattern for 2 players, and then here you have a different scoring pattern for 3 players, and then you also have other ones for example, 4 players, 5 players, and 6 players. So there you have that. Now, the basic pattern here is that you're going to be getting points for every person that you have sent to Valhalla throughout the course of the game. They have points at the bottom of the card down here, and that's the number of points that they will afford you if they have been sent to Valhalla during the course of the game. So you get points for that. You get points for all of the shields that you have been able to keep that are your own. So these are successful defenses and that type of thing. You're also going to get 2 points for every broken shield that you have. So every time you've defeated an opponent, you're going to be taking one of their shields. You get a point for each of that. And then finally, you're going to be getting 2 points for each pair of shields that you have taken from other people, from different players. So during the course of your turn, you're simply going to follow this course of action here. You have a set of A actions that you can choose from, and then you have a set of B actions that you must do at the end of your turn. So up here, you can either play 1 card into your warrior's row from your hand, or you can play 2 cards into your warrior's row from your hand. The caveat being is that you can play 1 guy down with no restrictions whatsoever, but if you want to play 2 down into your warrior's row, they cannot have more than 3 weapons on them. So for example, if I wanted to, I could play these 2 guys. Let's just say I had this guy in my hand. I could play these 2 guys down into my warrior's row because they only have 3 weapons on them. But if I had, let's say, this guy right here, and I wanted to play him down with this guy, I would not be able to because it's 1, 2, 3, 4 weapons, which is more than the 3 restriction. Additionally, the exclamation mark over here simply means that if I don't have any warriors in my clan, I must choose one of those. So you have to, if you don't have any warriors in your clan for whatever reason, you must play 1 at least down into your hand. Then you can choose to go out and attack other people, and we'll talk about how combat works in just a few moments. And then you can also choose to draw 2 cards and keep 1 of them. But the thing is that you have 4 actions available to you. You can only choose to do 1 of these. You cannot do all of them. Then, once you have chosen to do 1 of these actions and you've carried that out, you can end your turn by drawing 2 cards and keeping 1 of them from the deck here. So at the beginning of a game, your turn may look something as simple as this. I'm going to go ahead and play this guy down from my hand because I can. That person only has 2 weapons there. And then to end my turn, I'm going to simply draw 2 cards and choose which one I want to keep. I'm going to discard this one and keep this one. And that will be the end of my turn. The next person will do the same thing. Now, the different kinds of cards that you'll have in your hand, you'll have warriors, of course, that go very powerful warriors on up to, very weak warriors that might have stronger abilities and fewer weapons. So on the course of Blue's turn, they're going to look at their hand and, wow, that's a really powerful dude there, but it takes a lot to get him activated. So maybe we don't want to play him right off the bat. We're just going to go ahead and play this person down here like that. And then that'll be the end of my turn. We'll draw 2, take a look at them. And let's see here. We'll take this guy and stick it into our hand and discard him. Then over here, the red clan is going to take a look at their cards. So from this, we're going to go ahead and play the Ice Giant. He has 2 weapons here, and then we're also going to play this person right here. which has only one weapon. So I was able to play 2 because I only had 3 weapons there on those cards. And then we're going to draw 2 and keep one of them. So as you can see, rounds can go pretty quick, especially at the beginning of the game when you're not really wanting to attack anybody just yet. You want to build up your forces a little bit. But even during the course of later game turns, they're still going to go pretty quick. Now, the way combat works is pretty simple. You're going to first of all roll all 6 of your dice, and then you're going to be able to do any re-rolls by paying dice and getting rid of them to re-roll your dice. Then you're going to be able to play tactic cards from your hand, any number of them as the attacker. And then you're going to try to arm your warriors. And the way you arm your warriors is by matching the symbols of the weapons that they want on their card with the faces of the dice that you've rolled. And then once you're done, the defender will also go through a very similar phase. You'll compare the strength of each of your armies, and whoever has the highest strength is the winner of the battle. And we'll get to what happens after the battle is won in just a few moments. So the first thing is we're going to roll our dice here, and I am looking to try to get these different weapons here. So I have a couple spears, a couple shields. Oh, three spears, 2 shields. We're going to keep these 3 these spears. Then we're going to get rid of that die to roll these 2 over again. And okay, we got a bow. That's good, and another spear. Well, I do have some tactic cards that I want to play, so I'm going to play this one, and it simply allows me to add 2 dice to my pool, roll them, and then keep 1. So I'm going to do that. Okay. Well, that was not much of a choice, so we're going to play the same card again and roll these and try to get something else. All right, so that's about the end of my dice rolling. Now I'm going to assign these things to my different people here. So I'm going to put that bow down there, and then I'm going to put this axe. You know what? I'm not going to use that one. I'm going to use that one down here. I'm going to take this axe and put it right here, this spear and put it right here. So at this point we are all done activating because this guy won't be able to go anywhere. So my total is, so first of all, since I activated her, I get to use her special ability, which means that if I have 4 different clans represented in my army, which I do, she's +5. So she's 7 and he's an 8, so that's 15 power altogether. And we're going to, just for safety's sake, play this one right here, which adds 2 to my strength. So I have 17 strength in my army. So now, since the red player is the one attacker, the one defending, they're going to roll their dice and basically do the same thing that the attacker did. And after some lackluster dice rolling, this is what the red player has been able to do. They can only activate this one character. The dice are not letting them activate anything else. I mean, he could get a partial activation here, but that doesn't do any good. And none of his people are wanting swords. But he does have some tactic cards that he's going to play. First of all, he's going to play this +4 here, which says that if I discard a die that has a sword symbol on it, which I'm going to do that, I can add 4 to my total, and then I'm also going to add 2 to my total right here as well. So that's a +6. This person has 7. +6. All right. Well, we look at his Jarl ability down here, and it says once per battle you may discard 2 cards to activate any one warrior with 1 weapon less. So that's actually going to be something I'm going to do. I'm going to discard these 2 cards right here and activate this person with 1 less. Well, they only take 1, so that we can activate them for free. So now what we're going to do is tally all of our points and availabilities, realizing that this person has been activated because of the special ability of the Jarl. So we're going to first of all add power. So we have 6, 7, 8, 9. And then this person, because there are 2 yellows in my army, gets a +5, and this person, same thing. So that's +10, so that's 19. 19 to 17, they have successfully defended the battle. Now, the defender won this battle, the attacker didn't. Had the attacker won, they would have taken one of their shields and placed it over here in the destroyed shields section of the board. Then all the warriors that they activated would be sent to Valhalla, which is right here, and the points that they are worth will be given to them at the end of the game. No player that loses the battle can send players to Valhalla because Odin only rewards victory. So we look over here, that's if the attacker would have won. They would have taken one of their shields and placed all of their activated warriors into Valhalla. But since the defenders were the ones that won, first of all, the shield is not taken and they don't lose any of their shields. So that's good. That stays the same. And then they can choose any or all of their warriors who were in the battle, who were activated. So basically it would be one of these two, and they would be able to be sent to Valhalla. Well, this person's worth 2 points. That's probably worth it. So we're going to choose to go ahead and send that person to Valhalla to give us those 2 points later on. This person would come down like that if you wanted to, and that would be the end of the battle. And that's generally how the game is going to continue until one person loses all of their shields or the last card of this deck is drawn. At that point, one more round, one more turn is taken by all of the different players, and then Ragnarok happens, which is when each player is able to roll their dice one more time for their attack to try to activate as many characters as they can to send to Valhalla to then score those most points. And then after that last Ragnarok phase, we simply tabulate points using the score sheet for the number of players that we have. Whoever has the most points after that is the winner. So that's about that for Valhalla. Now I do want to say a couple of things here. First of all, what I showed you in the explanation part is only about a third of what comes in the box that you possibly might be getting from your Kickstarter. There are a lot of other expansions and a bunch of little cool things like that. Possibly, you have a playmat here, possibly a hill giant for your King of the Hill expansion. There's just a lot of different things that are in here that you will possibly be getting, but all I showed you was the basic stuff, and I did that on purpose because I don't want to show you necessarily the details on something that you may not be getting. So my first pro of the game is simply that it has these Jarls in it. These Jarls are the variable player powers of the game, and they're all pretty cool. Some of them are pretty powerful, other ones are not as powerful, but are very useful. So I like this. I don't think that this imbalances the game at all. I think this simply gives you something different that you can do on your turn that nobody else can do on theirs, and I like it when games do that, as long as they stay balanced, and I think they have, because none of them really seems overpowered than the other, and we have given this game quite a few goes at my table. Now, my second pro of the game is the fact that I love the dice pairing mechanism where you're trying to match the different symbols that your warriors in your clan are looking for. I love that mechanism. I don't know why exactly I do, but I like it a lot. And I also like the fact that there are different ways using the tactic cards to manipulate the dice during your turn. So you do take kind of a calculated risk when you go into a battle, because the dice may not roll your way, and you may not have the right cards to mitigate them. Although you do have cards to mitigate them, they're not exactly what you need, or they're not enough. So I like the calculated risk that this mechanism brings to bear. It doesn't mean that all of your warriors are going to be activated. It means that not all of your warriors are going to be activated. You're going to have to pick and choose what is the best team to take into this battle, so to speak. But there's a lot of planning that goes on ahead of that. So I really like this mechanism of pairing the dice with the different weapons that your warriors are looking for. I just like the tension that it gives during the dice rolling phase. And then on top of that, I like that there are battle cards and Jarl abilities that will allow you to mitigate those dice so that you're not just left up to the whim of the dice roll. Another pro of the game is as the defender, you have a little bit more freedom about who you can and cannot send to Valhalla. If you're the attacking player and you win, you must send everybody to Valhalla. That's just the way it goes. But as the defender, you have a little bit more freedom of picking and choosing who might go, especially if you win. Well, only if you win, actually. You can send all of them, or you can just send one, or you can send none. If you like the force that you're having, that you have in front of you, and you want to go out and attack somebody with it, you can do that. So I like that freedom that being the defender gives you. Another pro of the game is the fact that you have reason to attack multiple people instead of just picking on one person all of the time, because part of your scoring points is going to be how many different shields you get. And for each set that you're able to do, you're going to be getting more points. So I like it when games do that. It encourages you to spread the love, so to speak, instead of just ganging up on one person all of the time. So there is that. Additionally, on this same pro, it's also tied into a game-ending factor. So if people do team up on one person, the game's going to end a lot faster than if they were to spread out, which is what I think the game is trying to encourage you to do anyway. Another pro of the game for me is the artwork. The artwork on all of these cards is very, very good. It's not generic. It's not, now some of the poses are static, of course, but they are nicely done. It's not some type of artwork that's just kind of shabbled together. It looks nice. It looks great. Each of the different clans has their own group of people in them, and they all have a different look about them. So I like that. Each of the different Jarls are also a different piece of artwork as well. So there's a lot of different art in this game, and it all looks good. All of the different player boards, I wanted to show this to you as well. All of the different player boards have their own scheme to them as well. So I just think that's cool, because you can choose your own landscape to kind of go for here, but it's just what you want to do. Loved the artwork. I thought it was great. The graphic design is also clean and intuitive as well. The iconography for the different special powers for the warriors is simple, intuitive, easy to understand as well. So I think they did a great job with the artwork and graphic design on this one as well. A huge pro for me. Now, a couple of the cons for the game. Unfortunately, as with almost any dice rolling game, the dice can come and bite you in the rear at the most inopportune time, more often than not as well. So you do have to contend with that. There is the random dice roll factor that always enters the game. But as I said before, there are ways for you to mitigate that. But it's also possible that you just don't get any of those cards, since a lot of the mitigation is based upon getting those battle tactic cards in your hand, and maybe you just didn't draw them. So there is a little bit of that. And I have to mention it here because that is a con. As a matter of fact, one of my sons dislikes this game greatly because of that fact. The fact that how much you're able to mitigate the dice depends largely upon how much of that how many of those battle cards you're going to be drawing into your hand. Now, my answer to him and my answer to that whole dilemma is that you can always scrap a die to re-roll your dice if you're just really being hosed. But understandably, that rope comes to an end, because you can't continue to discard dice and still be able to activate your people. So I understand what's going on, which is why I'm mentioning it now as a con, is because it can kind of rub you the wrong way if you're not rolling well, and you're also not getting those battle tactic cards to help you mitigate some of that bad rolling. So I did have to mention that as a con. Another pro that possibly could be the game, it doesn't bother me that much, but another pro for the game might be the dice, because the dice are pretty busy looking. I thought they were fine as far as the circle has the symbol that's inside of them, but around that circle there's a little, the runes and vines and all that kind of stuff that go around the circle. Some people found that was a little bit too busy and made the dice hard to read. I disagree, but I wanted to mention it as a con because it was mentioned to me in that same vein as we were playing through the game. So I did want to mention that. I don't find any problem with it, but it possibly could be for you. So there you have it. And really, that's about it for pros and cons. I really enjoy this game. I had a lot of fun with it. I think it's a neat dice rolling game with some hand management and mitigation in there. I really enjoy how the game feels. I think the graphic design of the game is great, which makes it more enjoyable for me because there's neat pictures to look at. There are thematic pictures to look at, and a lot of the different abilities of those different characters and so forth really make it feel like a Viking game, and not just a card dice rolling game that a Viking theme has been slapped onto. So I really did enjoy it. I'm going to give this an 8 out of 10. I think that it is a fun game to play, and it's easy to teach. It's not difficult at all. So people will catch on to it really quickly, I think, and start enjoying it a lot quicker than some other games that are out there. So that's it from me for Valhalla, 8 out of 10. Thank you so much for joining me. I certainly appreciate it. And we'll see you guys and gals on the flip side. Take care now.